Welcome to another day of Ether Raids. We're taking on Penrose today, and we're going to go with the Hidden Run team or the Crown team. Haven't used this one in a while, so it's always good to just try to get it going here. And we're up against a 6-unit defense. Always nice to get those, but this one was a rematch. Or is a rematch in particular. Basically, I'm going to gamble these straps with Yunaka here, and then I think I'll have to have Crom step on that trap because I don't have the other disarm trap for, and then we'll figure out the rest from there. A lot of highly invested units here, a lot of max merges, a lot of great school. Ooh, look at this Astra. Ooh, nice, that is spicy. All right, and yeah, we're gonna see what we can do here. This is a very nice Shamir, although I don't think I'd commit to plus any mine, but that's a very nice unit. So yeah, we're going to initiate on the weakest link here, who is Katria. I just got to figure out how to break through the traps, and then we'll get going. I don't know if I'll be able to go on turn 1. I haven't completely thought it through, but yeah, we're going to take this step by step and then get our way up to the back line, or actually just up to the front line, and then figure out the rest from there. I don't think we can take out Astra.
What can I do?
So we're gonna leave Astra alone for now. He looks to be a pretty buff boy, so we're gonna leave him alone for now,
I can do
and then figure out the rest from there. That aside, this is right after the banner, so basically I am I am anticipating the worst because I literally just saw, or not even literally, I saw the new banner a couple hours ago at this point, and it is not filling me with a lot of hope for the future of the defense, or for the future of defense in this game, because I kind of knew that Embla was going to get an ult, just because of how good she is in terms of what she does, but I didn't think they'd give her full C skill. I thought they'd at least hold back on the armored aspect of it to prevent the saves, because that's like a crucial mechanic of an entire unit class. So it's like basically the entire unit class can't function without that specific role that they have. I mean, except Edelgard, of course, because, you know, favoritism. And basically, once you've put Embla into every season, basically once you've put Embla into every season, you've basically removed armored units from being good in Ether Raid's defense, because that was essentially their niche. If they're not able to perform their niche, then they have no role. And I think I said this as soon as I saw the banner. We're going to have to go to Cav lines or some type of turn 1 initiation, because nothing else makes sense at this point. If your defense is just open and vulnerable to every attack, then there's no point to anything. I guess the only correlation can be in the sense that, or in the vein that we have Chaos Season, but I don't see a ton of Emblas in Chaos Season, but that could also be down to the fact that only 5 units as a choice in terms of how to initiate on offense for Chaos Season, whereas in regular Aether Raids you're going to have 6-unit teams. So I guess there is that extra slot that you can choose from. I think overall it's a huge boon for anyone that's trying to Gale Force, because what's going to happen from here on is that I anticipate that at this point you might as well just throw out the tier 4 save skills, because they're utterly useless now. There's no point in holding back on tier 4 saves at this point, since Embla is in the game. Regardless of what that tier 4 save skill does, there's always going to be a workaround, no matter how strong it is. So usher that in, and then basically Embla is just going to ignore all that, and then you're going to just be able to initiate on every unit that you want to now, regardless of how strong the defensive setup is. Regardless of drives, they don't matter anymore. Miracle doesn't matter anymore. Nothing matters unless they create some anti-Embla tech, or Blessable Freyr, which I think would be the worst thing in the world. He's already toxic enough. I don't think we need a blessable version of Freyr in the game. That one, I can definitely say needs to be a skip. We have things that are close to what Freyr does, but I don't think we need blessable. Well, we actually do have blessable Freyr in his summer ults, but that version might as well have not existed because it does nothing. But we don't need another version of Mythic Freyr. And that would basically ruin Ether Raids. I feel like this Embla being introduced kind of ruins one aspect of Ether Raids in a sense, because, like I said, you're basically just devoiding an entire defensive archetype, or several defensive archetypes now, outside of cav lines, which ironically I was kind of leaning towards anyway, because
I will do my best.
My win ratios are so much higher when I use the cav lines. Unfortunately, just because people don't clear their back rows, so they have no space to avoid the attacks that are going to be coming from every lane. So they don't have enough space to hide, and there's no way you're going to tank it. Oh, the nukes are just so strong. You're just not going to tank it. And the only counter was to just initiate on turn 1 with some type of Gale Force strategy. And the 90% of that was Edelgard. And if Edelgard is now back on the table, then what am I even supposed to do on defense? Basically just have a full. If I'm running a cav line, it's gonna have to be units that can survive Edelgard. And there aren't that many. There's basically none. Except Edelgard. And the other Edelgard that's in the shop. So I don't know what we're gonna do. It's a this is an apocalypse. Ooh. That was supposed to hit 2 units. Did I not get peony? Oh. Right. Blue buffs. This is potentially a problem. This is a problem. I can still shut down 2 units, but the dance makes it kind of pointless. Gotta get peony off the board now.
Alright.
I was gonna use one of my actions to take out the bolt tower, but that doesn't seem like it makes sense at this point. I don't believe I'll be able to kill that Asker. Man, that kind of threw my whole strategy into the toilet. Let me see if I can figure out a way to recover this. I wasn't paying attention there. I was ranting and raving.
Have faith.
Alright, so we get the tower. And then Crom can warp here. Basically, I'm taking out Peony. So we get Peony here. And then Crom will have to tank a hit from other Crom. Which I'm pretty sure that he can do with all the buffs that he has, even with the -10. I think he's eating the Dark Shrine and the Bright Shrine. Crazy enough. Oh.
Let's get festive.
I forgot to lock the Asker. Oh man, I'm throwing. Okay.
I have no
We're gonna have to
doubt.
gamble on this. I don't know how she's surviving this, because I'm pretty sure that's supposed to be Ather to the face, but she's surviving somehow, and I don't know how. But since it is that she's surviving, we're gonna have to take that kill, or see if we can get that kill. It's turn 3, so let's slap the Satyr effects and see if it works. Nice. Alright, so we're gonna do this because I have no other choice at this point. I really threw that one. Got really lucky here. That's crazy. Yeah, so we're gonna take this and then see what's actually going on here. Oh. Okay. What happens? Oh, we out-res him. Alright, Veil. Veil to the rescue.
We must.
Alright, well that is not what I anticipated there. That did not go how I had planned. Things were supposed to go 100% differently there. But it worked out in the end, so we're not gonna yeah, we're not gonna stress it. Crom will come in and die here because yeah, he has no other choice.
I'll defeat you.
Valentine's Crom is eventually gonna get a refine one day, and I don't want to know what the state of the game is gonna be like at that point because that's already a good unit.
I have no doubt.
So armor effective damage ages really, really well. So I can only imagine that more stats, more damage in the future. Imagine what armored units will be like by then. That's, yeah. Yeah, but now we're just gonna get the pots. I think I'm gonna trap this Duos Shamir. I'm gonna trap her somehow.
Let's get festive.
So I gotta get around the back. But anyway,
All right.
back to what I was saying. Yeah,
can I do?
Fair is the only counter, and I don't know how that's even going to be. Like, Dark Season is pretty much done.
Your plan.
That didn't need to happen. Well, I guess it's kind of fair.
Close your eyes.
Fair in the sense that you have Embla on defense, so
You
now
have my
Embla's on
eyes.
offense in Dark Season as
All
well.
right.
So I don't know, Spider-Man meme, however that works. Cav lines are going to be the way to go, man. I don't see the point in building any other defense type at this point,
I will do my
unless you're
best.
going to build like a melee
Your plan.
offense team. Instead of using ranged units, you just go for melee nukes, but that kind of hinders your
You
range.
have my all.
So probably
your eyes.
waiting to see what Not's refine is, because if she can survive Winter Edelgard, then she's going to be a better frontline unit. But also, if there's no far save, then it's pointless. Also, again, the ranged nukes are so strong that it doesn't matter how bulky. There's just no surviving that.
I can
There's no
hardly
surviving that. You can one-shot pretty
Close
much
your
everything.
eyes.
I will do my best.
Gale Force didn't need a boon. They didn't need a boost for Gale Force, and that's pretty much what they got with this new banner here. I think I would have been okay with the banner had Embla not been on it, but Embla
You
kind of
have my
just like, well, maybe if Embla was on it, if they hadn't given her
I have no doubt.
severance, I probably would have been okay with it, but it's literally her full C skill, and even improved in a sense. So I'm not happy. I don't know, man. I'm kind of gonna give up at this point. I don't know. GG's. Let's play one more. All right, welcome to our second match of the day. We're taking on a Japanese player here, and I'm just going to continue to talk about that banner, man. I have more thoughts. I guess the units in general, I don't even really care about any of the other units on the banner. They're whatever. Because ultimately, I think I said this earlier, Gale Force doesn't need a buff. It didn't need a buff, and it would have eventually got... Gale Force improves by releasing stronger units that can Gale Force. That's how you improve. So basically, before that, you had Gale Forcing with like what were they using before? You had like God Swords that could, like, let's say the Felix unit that came out, God Swords like that, Legendary Ephraim, and then eventually they released Summer Ephraim, so that was an immediate improvement on what you needed to use in terms of like Gale Forcing strategies. Just a stronger unit. Then you had Summer Edelgard, Winter Edelgard, immediate improvements in terms of Gale Forcing. I think Baby Golve could be like looked at in that vein as well because of what her skills can do, her mechanic. But this is just like a really big power spike for Gale Force with the introduction of Embla into offense. It really does a number on Ether Raid specifically. Nothing else, no other game modes. It doesn't matter in any other game mode, but Ether Raids, and
What can I do?
that's really where you Gale Force in any case. And it really just made like every Gale Force team that much better. She doesn't need the B skill because she's probably gonna one shot most things anyways. Just give her Wings of Mercy and she's gonna fly in and do stuff. Who else? Who else is on the banner? The Sharena unit looks pretty cool. But melee cav, who cares? There's a ton of them. Also, I didn't expect her to get an ult. That is quite a surprise. Actually, genius move by IS. I kind of feel like that might diminish her chances of winning CYL next year. I felt like she would have been the front runner for the female side, but that's done. Unless they release like another Yunaka ults, I don't see how Yunaka or Ivy. Ivy already has 2 ults in the game. Why? I personally feel like Yunaka is going to win, unless there's a lot of Alir love, which I don't see happening. So yeah, there's that. And then there's the Zell or Vel or whatever her name is, the character from the DLC. I love her sprite. It's actually really a really nice dragon sprite. Could have been a little bit bigger. It looks kind of small for what it's supposed to be, but it makes sense in terms of the story. She didn't have the biggest sprite. Her brother was the one that had the bigger sprite. So it kind of makes sense from that standpoint. Ooh, the +1 movement there kicking in. I actually wanted for Mortis to be left last there.
I'll guide you.
That's gonna make things a little bit interesting. It'll be fine. No worries. And then there's the who else? Who else? Lapis, who has that new mechanic that they're introducing, which is actually pretty interesting as well. I like her mechanic.
I will go.
I don't like the fact that she has to not die essentially for it to trigger, but also she has to not kill the unit for it to trigger. What is that? That doesn't, like, what is that even?
I can do this.
It makes sense if you're gale forcing, in the sense that if you can put it on, like, let's say,
Let's rumble.
Nerthus would be a bad example, because she has a Pro C skill. Ephraim could probably use, like, a lot of times what I do is that I go in, I hit, and then I back out. But if I'm doing that, if I'm only hitting, like, let's say once with, let's say, Brave Prom, and I know I'm gonna miss the kill, but I'll survive, it allows everyone else to warp in. And I think I think the warp in is the best mechanic that she has in her kit. Aside from the debuffs and everything else that the other skill does, I think the warping is the best thing because it's reminiscent of what that baby Emran can do. Even though I think Emran still does it better because she has a rally assist that triggers it. But it is a really nice effect. If anything, I think that's the most interesting thing to me on the banner in terms of a skill. If I was gonna pull, which I feel like I'm probably not gonna pull because just out of protest, I feel like it doesn't even make sense to pull on the banner because there's nothing that I actually need from the banner. It's really just gonna improve your barracks in terms of if you were already good at guild forcing, here's some new things that will help you guild force more. And I don't necessarily need that. I already have Winter Edelgard, and it's just going to allow me to use her more. Even though on the team that I have her for, I probably don't know how I would use her on that team. She wouldn't fit. I'd have to drop Simmer Edelgard, and I don't want to do that. So, yeah, I don't know. It doesn't work for me. It just doesn't offer me anything. Maybe for Summoner duels, the Sharena would be really nice. Because she looks really strong in terms of the action economy. That's probably the second best thing for me. The action economy from that Sharena would make her extremely valuable for Summoner duels. But outside of that, I really don't care for this banner. I don't know, man. I might skip, I might not. I don't know. Depends on how many pulls I get. If I can get like free summon luck and just pick up a copy of the Sharena, I think that would be it. I wouldn't pull any more on the banner because I don't need the Embla. I'm already winning on offense. Is so easy. Crazy to say, but offense is so easy if you set it up right. Like I'm losing on purpose these days, which is a crazy thing to say. But yeah, I don't know, man.
No doubt.
I don't know, man. They did need to go and do that. Like,
Why not?
they really did need to go and do that. As far as I see it, armored units are like back to being what they were before, except Edelgard, which is largely useless, just score bots at this point, because if they can't save, then what's the point? Hopefully, like, nobody pulls Embla because she is on colorless, so hopefully no one gets her. That being said, most people are probably saving for the banner at the end of the month, which is double emblem units, so maybe a lot of people will skip. Hopefully, yes, I'm hoping, because it really just does a really bad thing to defense, bad number on defense. But let's see what happens, man. GG's.